everybody. We're into the black today. It's just me, Heather Cox, your host. Today we are actually going into the black in regards to education. How Into the Black works is we have special guests. Love my friends, love my network here in Delaware. What we're going to be doing is every other week, we're going to be having a special guest. And this week, though, we have no guest and we actually go into the black, into the space between the ones and zeros. We read between the lines. I give you guys some actionable tips. I talk about stories about myself and my experiences. And so this week, we are going into the black on continued education. I'm super excited to get into this conversation. So thank you for being with me. This is the second episode of Into the Black. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and also watch on YouTube or check out some highlights on TikTok and Instagram Reels and Facebook Reels. If you're joining me again, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Today we are talking about education and continued education. And I really wanted to talk about this subject for multiple reasons. One, myself, I am all for continued education. I know that may sound crazy to some of you who know me from a very long time ago and my family, right? I'm not one to go to a 4-year college. I tried it twice, didn't stick. We're going to be talking about my journey through that. But, I actually just finished my certification class in managing marketing for the hospitality and tourism industries I was from the EDX program from Hong Kong Polytechnic University. So I just got that certification, super exciting. And I can actually share with you guys that I was named one of their top students, I guess. So I have to send them a headshot and some information about myself, and it's super cool. And I'm going to be put on a poster, and I get a little certificate saying I'm one of the top students for the managing marketing in the hospitality and tourism industry. And I really, really did enjoy that class. I've gone to others and I have multiple certifications, which we'll get into. But, this one was really, first of all, it was synchronous, right? And trying to make the deadlines of this class and the course and the assignments and the homework was kind of hard. And I also had COVID at that time. To do this class while I had COVID, synchronous, and be one of the top students, I think I'm just gonna toot my horn a little bit in regards to that. But I have not always been so studious. I know that probably sounds a little crazy to some who know me now, but I was very much a rebel in my early 20s, my late teens, early 20s days. I went to a lot of different colleges, but what I really loved about the education system was that you got to be creative, right? And so I really, really enjoy the creative side of the education process, where we're able to learn new things and broaden our horizons by utilizing education through the assignments and homework that we have. To make you think, to make you try something new and write something new or create something new that is around a specific topic. So actually I have here, and on Easter Sunday, my mom actually gave this to me. It is apparently I've been telling creative stories for a very, 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 very long time. This here, and what I have in my hand, is titled Creative Stories by Heather Cox. 4th grade, Mrs. Hunt's reading class, 1995, by Heather Cox. I know I just gave away my age, but don't care. This is Creative Stories by Heather Cox. And I really always leaned into the creative in my education. And I feel as though that's why I'm drawn to specific topics in education. And I really didn't like some of the other ones. Let me tell you, I was not good at geometry. Geometry is not creative, okay? I was not good at theorems, right? None of that is creative. That's just rules and principles and, basic, math. I love math, the creative aspect of math on how you can get to an answer creatively, creative financing, if you will, utilizing that. But again, geometry is not fun. Theorems are not fun. They're not creative. And so I've always leaned into the reading side, the writing side of things. And so this book right here, The Creative Stories by Heather Cox, when my mom pulled this out, I was like, oh my gosh, like I've been telling creative stories my entire life. I've really leaned into the creative, the fun, the exciting, the not ever created yet, right? Because that's what being creative is all about, is that you're creating something. I'm creating something right here with Into the Black. This is my creative release. I've always been creative. And that's why I really love the work that I do when it comes to social media and strategy and content creation, because that allows me that creative outlet, but while also being totally OCD and loving the numbers and looking at the analytics and the data and utilizing technology. These are kind of like, that's why I love the intersection of what I do is content creation. But I believe I should read one of these creative stories that I have here. And there's one, I love it. And it was about not the gulp for Thanksgiving dinner, not the recipe to catch a shooting star. This one is my favorite. Today is very boring. A poem, a dramatic poem reading by Heather Cox. Today is very boring. It's a very boring day. There's ice cream on my sneaker and an elephant on my head. My spider got away and my fish ran to the sea. There is nothing much to say. Today is very boring. It's a very boring day. An elephant's on my foot and waste fell on my head. I think I will go back to bed. A dramatic reading by Heather Cox. And it even comes with visuals. That's me with an elephant on my head. And then there's me with an elephant on my foot. It was a very boring day, apparently. My stepdaughter loves that one because she always comes around and she's like, I'm so boring. About me. All right. What I love about this one is that I put Heather and I spelled things out. And the last for the R is rap is my favorite kind of music. I knew rap was my favorite kind of music ever since 4th grade. What? I'm like, can we shout out to Queen Irby? Like, I can't. Like, she's like my favorite rapper as of late. I really do love this. But this brings me back to being creative in education and really having creative play create that sense of wonder and wanting to continue that education. I used to be really creative in school, and I went to many different schools. I say all the time that my daughter is very lucky because she only has been 2 schools. She went to one Montessori preschool, and then she moved to her now forever school, hopefully. And she's very lucky that she did not have to bounce schools to school. I went 1st through 3rd grade to one school, 4th and 5th grade to another school, 6th grade to another school, 7th and 8th grade to another school. And then my high school for, freshman through senior, I actually stayed for 4 years. But again, education, I was always jumping around in my earlier days of school. So that really didn't, I guess maybe just that longevity of being at one school did not stick with me in my older years. Because let me tell you, I did not do very well when I got to college. I got into University of Delaware for hotel and it was a hospitality industry. It was hotel and restaurant management. I loved it. But I hated getting up at 4 a.m. on a Thursday to have to go meal prep and food prep at Vita Nova over at University of Delaware. Oh, it was the hardest thing. It was the hardest thing ever. I did learn how to make eclairs and those delicious rolls they have over there. And I learned a lot about nutrition, but it didn't, I lasted a semester. I bounced, right? And then, after that, I believe I went and got a job at the mall and doing that kind of stuff. I worked at Let's see, I worked at Lindt Chocolate and Victoria's Secret at the same exact time. I would open one store and then I would take a break and then my first shift was over and then I would go grab another shift over at Victoria's Secret. But that was between me going back to school. I went back to school at Del Tech, Delaware Technical Community College up in Wilmington, Delaware. And I lasted maybe a year. Lasted a year, guys. And, I was really, really blessed that my grandmother, for all of her grandkids, she stored away a certain amount of money for all of them for her to pay for one semester of college, the first semester of college. So I thought that was really cool. And I definitely helped pay for my first semester. But then I left, obviously. I only lasted a semester. And then the second time, my parents put up, the money for Del Tech. So, but I only lasted a year. So they said they were going to pay it year by year, see how it went. And I wasn't too keen on it. And, I think I just was a little peeved at that school for multiple reasons. But, I didn't last long. So then I went to Delaware County Community College. And they actually paid, I was working at a nursing home, a Quaker nonprofit nursing home, and I was trained to be a certified nursing assistant. So they actually paid for me and paid for my schooling to go to Delaware County Community College. If you have that opportunity, I would suggest you take that. It is a really good opportunity if you are looking to, get into the medical field. It's a really great entry point for you. So definitely, if you're looking into that. But I went to DCCC, Delaware County Community College, and I came out with a certification as a certified nursing assistant. And I worked at a Quaker nonprofit for a good 2 years before I hurt myself while on the job. After that, I was like, okay, great. I hurt myself on the job. They let me go after being on, medical leave for a while and then on light duty. And then they couldn't keep me on as light duty. So basically I left and I don't even know what I was doing at that point. I was trying to find places to work. I was working from job to job to job. And, I had a little bit of education under my belt. I had a lot of work experience. I've been working ever since the age of 15, but I just really didn't know what I wanted to do. Me being a CNA was actually one of the most fulfilling jobs I've ever had. I loved taking care of the residents. I loved making them feel good. I would, help them put on their makeup and their jewelry because they're from the era of which you get dressed up for dinner. And so, we would put on makeup and, their pearls and whatnot. And, there would be some residents who were not well off. And so a lot of their clothes were donated, but a lot of them were ripped. So I would go and sew them. It was really one of the most, I really, really did love that job. But then I got hurt. So, getting hurt, it kind of changes your career, it changes your life in the way you think you're going to go. It changes everything. So after that, I was working at a couple places and it just wasn't a good fit. And then one day I was just like, you know what? I'm done. I don't want to work for anybody anymore. I don't want to have anybody be my, a boss, of me. I want to be my own boss. My mom did it. Right? I grew up with watching my mom carve her way through the gift industry, the gift boutique, gift shop industry. And she made a name for herself. She was on QVC. She won a bunch of awards. So, I grew up watching her do that. I grew up going to these craft shows and the craft fairs and the flower markets and the pop-up shops and helping her pack up and break down and, also put the displays up. I did it all growing up. And so me seeing that, I was like, okay, well, you know what? I can freaking do this too. And so when I stopped jumping from job to job to job, and I was only 22, 23, and I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's try it. And I tried different things. I wanted to be a Girl Thursday. I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but a Girl Thursday is somebody, or is it a Girl Friday? It's Girl Friday, I think. Anyway, they are basically like a gopher. Go do this, go for that, go get this, do this, get my dry cleaning, help me get something notarized. I was also a notary as well. I tried different avenues and nothing really stuck until I started working for myself in regards to digital marketing, and Facebook was kind of on its way up. And seeing that, I was like, okay, let's try it. And so I put one ad out on Craigslist for, creating websites and social media. And then, just kind of snowballed from there ever since I was like 22, 23. I'm now 38. So, but my education didn't stop there. For a long time, I was working and flying it from, what is it? The seat of my pants or whatever they phrase is. I literally was just working, grinding, not stopping, going for a very long time. Like I would work, sleep, eat. That's all I would do for a very long time, because I'm here in this industry that back in the day when I started wasn't very proven. Facebook and social media was not a proven avenue of marketing at that point. I started when you needed a .edu to get on a Facebook. That was a very long time ago. That's when it was like only college kids. And it was not a proven marketing strategy or a proven marketing avenue. So, I'm hustle, go. And when, you bring the two together, the website and the social media, it's much easier to sell the website with the social media. And it's so much easier to sell the social media with the website, because it's all one digital entity, in my opinion, in my professional opinion. But, so I was just like hustle, go, learn on the go, learn through experience, learn through trial and error, learn through A/B testing, learn just YouTube University, just go. And it worked for a very long time because of the referrals I would get, best known beats best. But also experience beats those who don't have any experience. And I had a lot of experience in social media and digital marketing before it even became this big thing that it is now. But now I see it as, okay, wow, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of people in this pool now. So how am I going to differentiate myself? Yes, I have a lot of experience, but do I have that education to back it up? And I didn't. Yeah, I went to a semester at UD for hotel restaurant management. Yes, I went to a year for office administration at Del Tech. Yeah, I was a CNA at DCCC. But those did not really speak to what I was trying to accomplish. At that time that I decided to go back to school, I was also going through a divorce, and I was newly divorced. And, I was living in an apartment, a 1-bedroom apartment with me and my, at the time, 1.5-year-old. And I'm, just making it. I had to take a loan out to leave my house to actually get on my feet. At that time, I got that loan so I could get out and get my own place. And I did. And I was able to accomplish that. Thank God. Thank God that I had not relied on loans prior, because if I did, then I probably would have been effed. But now, I was in my apartment. Yes, it was a 1-bedroom. Yes, I'm literally sharing a room with my 2-year-old. She had a crib in the corner, and it's me, in my bed. And that's it. Just this little apartment off of Delaware Avenue in Wilmington. And so at that time, I was like, okay, well, I have the expertise, I have the know-how, I have the experience, but I don't have that piece of paper. I need that education. I need that piece of paper to back up what I'm saying and what I am giving to people and what I am offering as services. And so at that time, I was, just scrolling. I'm trying to do whatever I could, and I'm scrolling because, social media, you have to consume social media to see the broader trends. And so that's part of my job. So I'm scrolling, and all of a sudden it comes up on my feed that there is a advanced social media for business course at the University of Delaware program of continuing studies. I was like, what? I was like, get out of here. I was like, the algorithm is algorithming right now. So I was like, oh my God, no way. Let me check this out. And I checked it out. And the class was on Tuesday night. And I literally almost started, like I was crying because on Tuesday nights is when my daughter was at her dad's. And I just felt like this is perfect. Thank you. Like this is amazing. This just is what I needed. And so, the class was in person. And this was before, everybody was doing a lot of certifications and stuff online before the pandemic hit. This was, I think it was like 2019, at the end of 2018, 2019. And, it was in person. And funny story, and I'm going to be having her on the podcast. Her name is Nancy Dybert. Love you. My fellow Black loving clothing queen. We were acquainted on Twitter for a very long time, and she and a couple others created the hashtag NetDE. And it's basically about like what's going on in Delaware online. And so that hashtag NetDE kind of created this online community of people in Delaware. And Nancy was one of those people that created that hashtag. So we were very much acquainted through Twitter. We had never met. So I go to this class and, this is maybe like 10 years later that we had been acquainted. And I go into this class and like, I'm literally about to cry again because it's Nancy fucking Dybert. And I was like, what? I was like, I know you. I was like, we've been acquainted for so long on Twitter. And she was like, oh my God, shut up. And so it was a really like, I don't know, serendipitous or just, it was meant to be. I was meant to be in that class. And it really propelled me forward. So, I took that class, my final project, which I'll never forget. It was the most hilarious thing ever. I love Black, obviously, y'all know. We had our final project was on marketing for Delaware Hospice. And I thought that was perfect because I was like, oh my God, like I was a certified nursing assistant. Like I used to like clean up dead people when they would like pass away. Like I am very much like, I know I am very much at the end of care, like end of life care. I understand it. This is going to be so great. This project is going to be bonkers. So it was really good, but I didn't even think about it. I was like, let's all wear black so we could be really professional looking. And everybody's like, yeah, let's do that. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, I just love black clothing. Like I can't wear something like bright and silly. I can't. And I know like listening to this, the people are probably like, what the hell, Heather? Sorry. Anyway, we get up there and before we get up there, somebody speaks up and they're like, Heather, we're all in black and we're giving a project about hospice, like people dying. And I was like, oh shit. Oh my God. Okay. Well, I guess we got to get up there and are all black looking like freaking death is coming for hospice. So that was a really funny moment in my life. I love that. It was so funny. But, after that, I became certified in advanced social media for business from University of Delaware program of continuing studies. And, that really, really did propel me forward because I did have that piece of paper. And then I believe, I'm not sure, Newark Life reached out to me because they were doing a piece about University of Delaware program of continuing studies. So I had some press around it. They also did an article in the University of Delaware program of continuing studies newsletter. I believe it's online. So you can actually go look up all of this stuff. But it really, really helped me kind of hone in on what I really wanted to do and also gave me the confidence to be like, you know what? Like, I actually know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, and it was proven. Like, I didn't have to take that course, but I wanted to take that course. So that I had that piece of paper. It was from a reputable company, like a reputable university. It wasn't just from like Facebook.com or like some Joe Schmo from Clubhouse. Like, sorry to say, but it really gave me like that piece of paper, like that, like it gave me that confidence, but also gave me like the credentials to say, yeah, I know what I'm talking about in regards to social media and marketing. So that was in 2019. And then, life happens and COVID happens. And after COVID happened, it was like, okay, well, now everybody and their mother is online. And this pool is now even more swamped. It is like bonkers. Like you can't move in this pond anymore when it comes to social media management and strategy and digital marketing, because everybody thinks that they can do it, which they can effectively, maybe not so much, but they believe that they can do it, which is fine. But I need to differentiate myself even more. It was now it's 2004. That certification class that I took at UD was 5 years ago. The mechanics of social media change so much, which means that we need to stay ahead of the game and we need to stay up on our education when it comes to digital marketing. Digital marketing is this, and another reason why I love what I do is because it changes every day. There's a new task. There's something new to learn. There's something new to try. There's something new. It's just so much fun. And my days are so different. No 2 days are the same. And that's why I really, really love it, is that I could do something completely different. I could do analytics one day. I could do AI image generation another day. I could be making a GPT another day. I could be doing a client event the other day. I could be taking photos at a restaurant another day. There are so many things that I can do. So, so then after the pandemic, it's been 4 or 5 years since I got that certification. I was like, you know what? I need to go back. And I'm going to take a pause right here before I talk about where I went to go back, because the numbers in regards to student loan debt is crazy. And again, I am so blessed that my grandmother saved one semester amount for me to go to UD, just one semester. I only lasted one semester, but thank you, Grandma, RIP. And then thank you to my parents for also covering that year at Del Tech. And then thank you to Kendall Crossland Communities for covering and paying me to go to DCCC to become a CNA. Now, when I went to the University of Delaware program of continuing studies, I did have to get a loan. I went through Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, I believe. And I also attended University of Delaware program of continuing studies. It was like an open night. And so there was a contest in which I made a piece of content. And it was a content contest where you create a piece of content and then the most dynamic one, or the one that got the most likes, would win. And I was one. Yes, overachiever. Thank you very much. Mine won. So I got, I believe, 10% off my bill of me coming to the program of continuing studies at University of Delaware. And I still had a loan with Freddie Mae and Freddie Mac, and it was really hard to pay off, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to pay the amount that is owed and more, so I don't fall behind. So whenever I would get, a check from a client, like I would literally, the first thing I did was paid off that student loan, because I was like, I know that there are millions of people out there that are just being dragged down by student loan debt. And I am not one of those people that have student loan debt. I have zero student loan debt because of my crazy, absolutely bonkers journey through the education system. And also having amazing grandparents and parents and organizations to help me pay for those times when I went to school. But for University of Delaware, I had to pay for it. So I just had to make sure that I was like, every time I get a client check, I'm going to nose to the grind, like just work, grind. And I'm going to pay that off. And I did. It took, oh my gosh, it took 2 years, I think. And it wasn't even that much. I think it was like $3,000 loan. But I was like, I just have to stay up on top of it. And I wasn't making as much, hardly at all at that time. I had paid it off. Finally, everything's paid off and I'm student debt free. Thank you. But I know a lot of people out there are not. And I just wanted to throw some stats at everybody here in regards to how much student loan debt there really is out there. So this is from Forbes. There are 1.75 trillion with a T, in total student loan debt, including federal and private loans. That is 1.75 trillion. 1.75 trillion. That is crazy. On average, it is $28,950 that is owed per borrower. That is a lot. That is a car. About 92% of all student debt are federal student loans. The remaining amount is private student loans. 92% of all student debt are federal student loans. And 55% of students from public four-year institutions had student loans. 55%. So if you wanted to go to a public four-year school, you have to go get a loan, which I think is bonkers. And student loan borrowers, and this is from USA Today, the student loan borrowers take an average of more than 20 years to pay off their education debt. 20 years. 20 years. That is crazy. So if I continued at University of Delaware in 2003, what is it now, 2024, I just would have been finished paying if I paid the exact amount that was due every month plus more. Because there is no way that you can pay that interest down by just paying the minimum monthly payment. There's no way. The interest rates are crazy. And that's the only way, which sucks. And I mean, I do that with my car too. If I owe X amount of dollars, let's say I owe $100 on my car payment, I am making $150 on that car payment because I need to get that interest and that premium down. I got to get it down. Got to pay it off. So I went to university. So, I went to UD. I got that certification, but that was 5 years ago. So I'm like, shit. I don't want to spend another $4 or $5 grand on another course. I don't want to do that. Who has that type of money right now? Nobody. So I was like, all right, let's think about this. And so what did I do? I did research and not research of like, let's go to Google, but more of research of like, let's scour the internet. Let's go on social media. Let's go on to forums. Let's search keywords within social media and see what we come up with. And I had been doing that and I didn't come up with anything. But then all of a sudden a zeet came across my Zitter, my ex. And it was about the EDX program, the EDX platform. And I was like, what is this? Let me go look at this real quick. And game changer. So ever since the pandemic hit, there's been more online education. More learning online, more coaching online, more courses, more whatever. And, I was like, it's been a while. I really, really need to up my education because I cannot sit here and be like, I have advanced social media for business certification since 2019 and it be like 2029. That was like 10 years ago, bro. So what I did was when I found that tweet, I was like, let me look at this. And game changer. So it's EDX, E as in Edward, D as in David, X as in X-ray.org, edx.org. Shout out to y'all because it has been life-changing for me. I love education, but I also like to do it on my own terms. And I really like to talk about classes or take classes that really interest me because that's what's going to keep my attention and keep me working and grinding and keep working on it. So EDX platform has been so great. So when I found that out, I was like, all right, well, let me dip my toe in here. And so I went and I found a couple courses and I went to the first one was the University of Maryland, Robert H. Smith School for Business. I graduated with transforming digital marketing and finding new customers. I can't believe I can't remember. It's so long. It's like digital transformation strategies. There it is. Digital transformation strategies. Leaning in and finding new markets and finding new target markets. So that one was awesome. I am now certified in that. And then at the same time, because I'm crazy for learning, so I went to another EDX program at the same time, which was Harvard University Computer Sciences for Business Professionals. So now I am also certified in that. And that was a lot of fun because I actually got to learn HTML coding and how it works from the ground up. I had taught myself for, going on 15 years now, how to create custom WordPress website designs through self-hosted WordPress over on GoDaddy. And I still do that for clients. So if y'all are listening, hit me up. 15 years. But, I've been doing that a very long time, but I never really understood the mechanics of, okay, yes, I have WordPress here. And yes, I can go use the HTML editor instead of the visual editor. on my classic editor on WordPress to do the HTML coding. And, a lot of the time I taught myself how to do that, but I never really understood the mechanics of CSS and HTML and building a website from the ground up. Now I do, because I went to Harvard University for computer sciences for business professionals. I now really, really understand how to create a website from the ground up, how to create different tech stacks, different storage management systems. Like there's so much. And I learned so much from there. So it was really super cool. They were really in-depth courses and instruction from Harvard University. And plus it also gives you that authority. It really does. Instead of taking a course from Google I guess Google is reputable. Let's say you're taking a course from somebody who just created a course over on Clubhouse. That's not reputable. Okay. Like that's not going to give you that leg up. But if you go to a course and have that piece of paper from Harvard University online, that's going to give you a little more credence, in my opinion, when you are talking to potential clients and really, talking about your brand and your business. So, I went there and then I was like, okay. I want to take one more because I really want it to be specific to the hospitality and tourism industries, since I really love working with restaurants and hospitality and real estate and hotels and, conferences and tourism. So I was like, let me just find one that's really geared towards that. So I actually found one on the EDX platform with Hong Kong Polytechnic University for managing marketing in the hospitality and tourism industries. And it was such a great class. I learned so much. It was really difficult though, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, because I had COVID. It was synchronous. It's across the world. Trying to sync up like East Coast time to like Universal time was just crazy. I have a little bit of dyslexia, so those numbers get twisted. And I was just like, I missed an assignment. And I was like, I emailed him like 3 hours later. I was like, oh my gosh, like the time conversions are killing me. So, but it was a really great experience. The instructors were fabulous. The course information I learned a lot. I really, really did learn a lot in regards to SWOT analysis, to marketing 4.0 and what generation we were at now. And really, they talked about AI. They talked about the customer journey from, looking at the website to finding a destination to go, to actually getting there, to staying there, to leaving. It's a whole customer journey. So I really, really appreciate that platform, the EDX platform, because, a lot of these are also free too. Let me put that out there. This is the reason why I wanted to talk about the EDX platform. A lot of these courses are free. Now, yes, you can get a verified certificate and it's $250. I mean, compared to $28,000 worth of student debt to get a piece of paper for a 4-year college that could be from Harvard or whatever, like, yeah, it's probably costs a shit ton more than $28K to go to Harvard. But I'm saying, like, instead of paying that $250 application fee or something, maybe use that $250 to get a verified certificate, because then you can continue to utilize that education. You can utilize that certificate. And then guess what? In 2 or 3 or 4 years, you're going to have to go back anyway, because all of the information that you just learned is gone out the window. And that's what I really find, like, not funny, but funny, is that people will sit here and they'll talk about how they have a digital or a marketing degree from blah, blah, blah from the 70s. And I'm like, okay, well, that was the 70s. Yes, some of your information may still be relevant, maybe in regards to newspapers and print ads and maybe like networking. Love it. But, you're not going to know anything in regards to digital marketing or the new ways of marketing, voice marketing, AI marketing. You're not going to understand that. So these certifications really allow you to be nimble, allow you to pivot quickly. Let's say that you just retired and you're like, I don't know what to do with my retirement. I don't want to stop working, but I also don't want to go back into the field that I was in. EDX is great for that, because you could just go in a keyword. I think they even have an EDX platform. I think they even have like a course about astrology. I think that might be like my next thing is to learn something not that, I could put on my resume. I want to learn something for like self-development, for personal development, not for the development of the resume. So continued education will always be, in my opinion, a great marketing vessel, a great marketing avenue, because that gives you those milestones within your business and within your personal development to highlight and show to people and market and really market that you are the expert in your field, that you are continuing your education, that you do give a shit. Because in my opinion, continuing your education is kind of a signal that you give a shit. I give a shit. I give a very big shit about social media and marketing because I see so many people doing it wrong. And so I just want to educate, and I want people to be educated. And if you are looking for a great platform, and again, they aren't paying me to say this. None of these places are paying me to say jack shit about any of this. I just thought that it would be a great episode of Into the Black to really getting into the nitty-gritty of education and other avenues in which you can educate yourself without going into crazy student debt. Because I know that is why I have not been bogged down the way that many other business owners and people in this world are. I don't have student debt because of my crazy roundabout way of actually liking education. I was such a nerd in high school, but then after high school, I was just like, this 4-year college, this number system, like you sit in your seat and you're number 257 jack whatever. Like, I don't like that. No. So certifications, check out edx.org. It will keep you nimble. It will keep you up to date. You don't have to go into student debt. You still, yes, need education, but you don't need to go into student debt. You can even think about a trade school. So I know there's I don't know, probably Delaware. I'm probably saying this wrong, but there's like a Del Tech vocational school, Del Castle vocational school. You can go there and graduate with a Microsoft like certification. Like that is in high school. So you can even start preparing earlier. You don't have to go to a normal high school. You could go to a VOTech. You can get that tradesman. You could become a tradesman in computer sciences. You can become a tradesman in welding. You become a tradesman in so many different things, in carpentry and electrical. I know there's probably like a shit ton of positions for electricians, and they make bank. Let me tell you, you do not have to go into student debt to get that education and to stay educated. So if you're in high school, go to VOTech. If you want to go to college, go for it. But just know, try to get a scholarship, try to get money, try to get it covered. You do not want to have student debt. If you don't want to go to a 4-year, there are tons of online certifications that will help you level up your business and level up your education and keep you educated. And also, if you are retiring, again, just find something that you love and become educated in it. My mom, she quit her job at Raymore & Flanagan. It was too much stress, too much. She was on her feet for like 10 hours straight. And so what did she do? She was like, what the hell am I going to do? She took a local pottery class. And now she is like the owner of the Fairy Potter. And she was just awarded like one of the best newest artists or whatever it is from Brandywine Arts. So just think about how your education can propel you forward, can create new avenues for you, open up new doors for you. Because I know that certification at UD, it was really meant to be. It was like that scrolled, it came across my feed. It was at the right place at the right time. And I know that if I did not take that class, I would not be where I'm at today. It probably would have taken a lot longer. A lot fucking longer. Instead of, the way it is now. Which is, I have 4 certifications now. I have one from UD, one from Harvard, one from Robert H. Smith Smith Business School at University of Maryland, and Hong Kong Polytechnic University. That's 4 certifications. And I'm going to keep going. I may do a certification in something that I love, like astrology or numerology or whatever, or I may add something else to the resume to propel myself and to keep myself moving forward in my business, in my expertise, in my education. Because if you stop and if you stand still for too long, everybody else is just going to go past. Everybody's just going to surpass you. So today is a very wonderful day. And this is a dramatic reading, and I'll leave you with this. This is a poem that I wrote in 4th grade reading class. Thank you, Mrs. Hunts, for putting this together. If you're listening to this, Mrs. Hunts, shoot me a DM. I want you to know that I'm still being very creative and still telling very creative stories. So today is very wonderful. Today is very wonderful by Heather Cox. Today is very wonderful. It's a very wonderful day. First, I will go to Hollywood. Then I will take Kelly, my sister, to Pluto. I will leave Kelly there and go. Then in school, I will get straight A's. Today is very wonderful. It's a very wonderful day. I will have ice cream for dinner and then watermelon for lunch. My mom and dad will move out and I will make my sister do all my chores. Then I will go to bed at 5 a.m. and my sister's at 3 p.m. They have a very early bedtime, apparently. Today is very wonderful. It's a very wonderful day. Thank you guys so much for being here at Into the Black. My name is Heather Cox. Next week, we will have a very special guest, Jane Clark of Brand Swan. Here on Into the Black, we are going to be talking all things WordPress, D&D, fonts, Canva, black clothing, fashion, all the fun things. So thank you guys so much for being here. Into the Black.